Hi, everyone, anybody and everybody, anyone and everyone. Do I have to watch my own video to remember what I said? I'm going to do the collective for today. Today is Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. You may follow me on the Attack the Tube, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, we love that for you. God loves that for you. That's all you could ask for is some of it. Whatever does not, just leave it on the table for someone else. You don't need to take on energy that wasn't meant for you. Do you know how many times I watch readings? Because I watch a lot of readings, right? I have a lot of favorite readers, and they do oracle, tarot, whatever. A lot of them do a mix now, you know? And I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking to myself, like, how delusion, and no offense, but how delusional was I to think that every single read was about me every single time? And now when I watch readings, I sit there and I laugh because I say, okay, well that's not for me. Like I don't know anything about, like, if that's going on, like I don't know anything about that. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, this is a nice little mini series. Like if you catch it every day and you just listen and you take what resonates, but you know, a lot of it probably is not going to resonate, some of it. And it's like watching a little soap opera. And I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. Like I don't watch a lot of regular TV anymore. So when I watch tarot, like that's my entertainment. And a lot of times I don't even like watch it. Like I'll put it on and I'll listen to it as I'm cleaning or whatever. Anywho, I thought I'd share some more today. We got Rare Rebel. I mean, I share every day, so you can find this on Etsy. I was supposed to give a friend of mine a reading at work, but we never had a break together. Oh, man. We got one on the table. So I pull up into my driveway, and off to the left, but it would be my right, is where me and my neighbor Alan and his wife Ava, we all put our garbage cans. So we each have a garbage can and we each have a recycling bin. And he puts his two, there's a fire hydrant, and then I leave room and I put mine there. I swear to God, the neighbors throw their shit in my space because they're afraid to leave it with their stuff, because they're afraid they're going to like get charged for it or something. Like there's a bed out there. There's like a nightstand or something, and it's all in my space. And I'm thinking that's not even mine. Like what are you doing? And then I'm wondering, okay, is it the neighbor or did some weirdo just come by and drop it off a truck, like they didn't know what to do with it. I don't know. I know tomorrow when I put out my trash cans, I'm going to be moving it over to their side because I did it last time. Somebody put out like a big giant beanbag, like a huge one, like one like you could use as a bed. I dragged that thing over to the other side. I'm like, no, you know that this is not your area. You know that. Ugh. And the thing that kills me, and not to be mean about it, they're all renters. They all rent. Like nobody owns their condo anymore. Almost everything is rented. And when you make a complaint, like I made it a complaint when they did the blacktop on our driveways a couple weeks ago. I made the complaint because I'm like, where are we supposed to park? I said every condo has like 5 cars. You only have room for 2. Well, technically 3 if you can fit one in your garage, which most people can't. And there is not a day that goes by. I cannot even tell you, there is not a day that goes by that I hope one day I walk out and find a car parked behind my car, because I will literally start laying on the horn. And I will blare that horn until every single person comes out and claims that car as the police are there, because I will call the police. And people park on the street. You're not supposed to park on the street at all because there's not enough room. The street is very tiny. It's just like a little condo development. It's not like, I don't know. Okay, did I whine enough? Did I complain enough? How's your day? What'd you do today? I actually had a really great day until I came home and I saw that. I was like so mad. I'm like, what the hell is this? We got 4 on the table. Five on the table. 6 on the table. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, come on. Come. We got 6 on the table. Let's do 2 more shuffles. Seven on the table. Last shuffle, last shuffle. Eight with bottom of the deck. All right. We've got death. Air element. Got to love those Aries. Not to be confused with Aries. Vices and addictions. Karmic partner. Pardon me. I am tired, you guys. I actually was thinking about not doing reads again, and then I felt so bad. I'm like, no, I gotta do reads. And at the end of the day, I love doing them anyway, so what's the difference? Water element. We got connect to spirit. I have 1 nail left. I gotta figure out how to get this thing off. It's not coming off. We got shadow work. And bottom of the deck, we got deep desires. Feminine, masculine, take how it resonates. It doesn't matter. Okay, so an air element, which would be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Put to death an old way of life. Vices and addictions, a karmic partner. Like they got rid of a karmic partner. This is someone reworking their life. For a second, I thought maybe this air element passed. I don't think that that's the case. I mean, if that resonates for you, like if you know of an air element, again, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Oh, there's a squirrel out there and he's injured. Poor baby. He's like walking lopsided, like dragging his foot. Man, get in the tree and stay in the tree. What the hell? can't bring them in here. I got 4 freaking cats. This air element's karmic partner was a water element, okay? A water element would be a Cancer, a Scorpio, Pisces. This is someone trying to connect, maybe trying to heal, maybe trying to I just heard get in with God. Someone feeling like I someone feeling like it if they not that they're gonna pretend, right? But it's almost like someone like living, being karmic, being toxic, and then realizing, okay, well, if I get in right with God, like it'll fix everything, it'll be okay. So just let me do this, that, and the other, right? Like it's someone saying like, if I on the religious spectrum, if I start going to church, if I start praying, if I start doing Hail Marys, whatever, like, God will see that I'm changing, that I'm changing for the better, and my karma will change, and my life will change, and I won't feel stagnant, and I won't feel dismissed, right? If it's spiritual, along the same lines, just without church, like if I pray, if I manifest for good, if I do good deeds, if I meditate, maybe God will realize like I'm really trying. This person has shadow work to do, and it with the deep desires card, I'm not going to lie, like the first thing I thought was sex, like maybe sex addiction, or maybe they have an addiction to some offshoot of sex, like BDSM, or I don't know. I don't know, foot fetish, or I don't know. It literally could be anything, but it definitely gives off like they need to work on something, like in regards to sex, like unhealthy behavior. Like maybe they're not like a sex addict, but all of their relationships are casual or friends with benefits. Like they don't do serious, they don't do boyfriend girlfriends, they don't. I mean, I just heard pay for sex too. Maybe somebody just pays for sex. Like they don't date, they don't do casual, they don't do nothing. Like they literally just pay for sex. I mean, there's people out there that do that, right? Like if you can afford it and you don't want a relationship, I guess go for it. It's an option. I would never say, like, no, if that's what you want to do, then do that. I mean, again, that's not really something for me to judge. If I'm going to judge the person that's going to sleep with somebody, you know, that's going to pay somebody for sex, then I have to judge the person that's selling the sex. And I don't necessarily think that's wrong either. Sex is prostitution is like the oldest form of, isn't it like one of the oldest forms of what, a career, or like I mean let's just be honest. And more in regards to women, but it's not like there aren't male prostitutes too. especially like gay culture, you know. I just don't think it's for anybody to judge that, you know. That's a decision you make for yourself with God if you believe in God, and you know, I mean, look at I don't know if it's still in business, the Bunny Ranch in Nevada, right? It was a legal whorehouse basically. I remember once I watched a documentary on it, I think on HBO. Most of the women that worked there were all married and had families, and I think at the time, like, they would go to the ranch, they would have their own room there. And I think they spent like 2 3 days there at a time, and then they would go home, and then they would come back. And I think there was one woman that her husband didn't know, but the rest were like, oh yeah, they know. I don't know. Again, who am I to judge? Like, and I've said this before, like when I judge, when you judge, it should be more out of like a loving thing, you know, like I want better for you, you know, I love you, I want, more for you. Not like, oh my God, you did this, you're going to hell. Like, that's not your call to make. And me personally, I don't really believe in heaven and hell. I believe this is heaven and hell. Because when you go to the other plane, you're going to the other plane and you're coming back at some point. To me, this is heaven and hell. Think about all the things that happen here on earth. Think about all the things we do to each other, negative and positive. Horrible things, right? There's horrible things out there. Horrific things happen every day. It's nobody's place to judge that kind of behavior. When I think about my own past behavior and things that I've done and things that I don't necessarily I'm not necessarily proud of, but at the same time, like I don't think I've done like the worst things imaginable, compared to other people that do other things. But at the same time, like, if you believe in sin, I don't think that there's any one sin that's worse than the other. Now, when you look at a crime, you would think, well, yeah, that's horrific. That's not as horrific, right? But they're both a sin if you believe in a sin. They're both a sin. To me, it's a sin, you know? Like if you're going to hell, they're both going to hell. You know what I mean? But again, I don't believe, like me personally, I don't believe in heaven and hell. I believe that's what we're living. And I believe that's technically man made. Like we make our heaven and hell by being the humans that we are. That's why I always say, like, I always want to try and go out there and be the most positive human being I could be for that reason. Anyway, yeah, this person has shadow work. They have work to do because something with sex, addiction, fetish. I don't know, but something with sex. And again, take how it resonates for the air element, whether they actually passed or Because it almost gives to like this water element was their partner and they left to go off on their own to do their own thing. And this air element was left like, am I gonna change? Am I not gonna change? So take how it resonates. Either way, the two of them were together at one point. They both have vices and addictions. They both have issues to work through. And they both, I mean, technically, again, take how it resonates with the connect to spirit, the shadow work, the deep desires. I mean, maybe they both have sex addiction issues, you know? Or again, like if one was into BDSM, the other one probably was too, right? Or maybe like they were each into different things, but they did things together and they did things with other people. I mean, I don't know. They've To me though, they've definitely, I don't know, I don't think I've ever said this with this card. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have. But I think they turn their back on each other. Like whoever this couple is, this air element, this water element, like they're not together. And again, if this air element did pass, this is just this water element walking away from this relationship, this former relationship, realizing like they need to work on themselves. They want to change something. Because I do feel like they want to change something. I just, with the connect to spirit card, I just think they're going to go in like too hard, you know, like try too hard, if that makes sense. Like you don't need to try too hard with God. God, again, God knows everything. So, you know, if you're going to heal yourself, if you're going to do shadow work, then just do it. And again, I always say this, I always stress this. It takes however long it takes. Like, God is not going to expect you to be like completely healed in like 3 days, 3 months, 3 years. And I've said this, there's no such thing as healed. Everybody is healing all day, every day, from birth to death. And you're going to heal from something, and 5 years later, you're going to be like, wow, I don't think I healed from that. Because you'll remember something, or something will trigger, or, you know, like, I just don't believe we completely heal from anything. We're always healing. Always. You know, and I've told you guys too, like, I feel like every couple days, like, I get these little epiphanies, right? These little epiphanies. And I had one today. I had one today. I had one today. A little one. I had one today. I was writing notes, and just for me, for personal, nothing like downloads or for you guys or anything. But I was right, or well, maybe this will resonate. But I was writing. I think I told you guys, if you follow me, if you subscribe, um, I had that epiphany like last week or the week before that I tell people that I'm attracted to older guys, but I think I'm really more attracted to younger guys because when I look at all the men in my past, there's more younger men. And even if I wasn't with them, like I've been attracted to more younger men than older men. I also realized when I like older men, I like a woodsy, like cowboy kind of guy, you know, like a tough kind of guy. But when I like younger men, I like a more put together, a more slim figure, like a I guess you would even say like a classy, or like a, I don't know how you would say it, classy, I guess. A younger guy, which you would think it would be the opposite. I don't know. I don't know. But I had an epiphany regarding it, and I wrote something on the piece of paper about like um, being too young to take a chance in love. And then I wrote underneath it projection, because I have a crush on a guy at work, a younger guy. And I wrote that thinking of him, but then when I really looked at it and I thought of it, I was like, you're projecting your energy onto him, because, and I I had this epiphany too. The My first love ever, the first guy I ever fell in love with, and I think I told you guys this. We worked together, and he was like 2 or 3 years younger than me, and I didn't feel like that was a line that I wanted to cross. And when I wrote the little blurb today, I was like, yeah, you were too stupid. You were too young to take a chance in love. Like I wasn't willing to take that chance. And really, in reality, when I was a kid and I met that guy, I should have taken that chance. You should always take a chance. Always. I remember the year before last. I think I told you guys about it last year in a video. There was a guy at the warehouse who was on second shift, and he's an older guy, and he's like a woodsy manny kind of, a woodman's kind of guy. I don't know how to say it. Not a cowboy, but he had like a beard, and he was bald, and like he was kind of tough looking. A little shorter than I would normally like, but he was a cute guy. And we would flirt like every once in a while. I mean, he would flirt with everybody, but we would flirt. And one day he was out at the booth where we have to scan to come in, and then when we leave, and I pulled up next to the building, and I like waved him out, and he comes out because he was on light duty at the time. He hurt his knee or something, and I said, "Are you married?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, damn." And he starts laughing, and I started laughing, but then he goes, "But not happily." And I was like, I like waved my hand at him. I'm like, "Get out of here." And I drove off. But his name was Paul. He's a really nice guy. He's funny. But he doesn't work there anymore. He left. He got a job somewhere else. Um, but yeah, it made me think like I should have taken like I would take a chance today. You know what I mean? Like if it feels right, if it feels like there's some type of reciprocation there, like I would take the chance. But when I was a kid, when I was younger, like I didn't take that chance, and I think I really missed out. I think I really missed out on that. And I'm not saying the guy would have been my soulmate or anything, but you never know. I didn't take it, you know. I was too young. I didn't want to ruin our friendship, our work relationship, and I thought he was too young because he was a little bit younger than me. So I realized today when I wrote that on the paper and I was thinking about the guy at work, I was like you're projecting. And it's not that, maybe it still couldn't apply to the guy at work, but currently, but like I was projecting because I was really thinking about the past, not thinking about it, but thinking about it. Little epiphany moments. Yeah, this person is gonna try too hard to connect to God, to try and make some type of like compensation for their past behavior. They're gonna try too hard. You don't have to try too hard with God. You just need to believe and have faith and hope and love and peace in your heart, and do the best you can. If you want to pray, pray. If you want to talk to him or her, however you refer to them, then talk to them. If you want to manifest, if you want to write them letters, if whatever your heart desires. I'm not really seeing anything specific other than the fact that these two, if the air element is still around, they're not together. They went their separate ways. And it could be too, like, it could be like this water element has already been healing, like they already walked away and they're healing. And now this air element is like, okay, like I'm going to quit doing whatever I'm doing. Because it almost gives a vibe of like they separated and they're doing their own journey, which, I mean, we're all human. We all have our own journeys. And if they're not meant to be together, they're not meant to be together. So they would not be on the same journey. And one last thing, if it resonates for you that the air element is still here, I think they're having a harder time dealing with healing than the water element. Because for some reason I keep looking at this in conjunction with this, like I think like it might take them a little bit longer to kick whatever they want to kick. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. Because I'm not seeing like anything specific or anything like that. um I hope it resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, if anything, you found it entertaining. I hope you all have little epiphany moments, because they are a blessing in disguise, let me tell you. I hope everybody has a great day and or evening. I'll talk to you later. Bye.